The cherry blossoms are blooming. Alright, hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kelly. I feel like this just isn't on YouTube channels enough. I don't see enough videos about people's transition from college to post-graduation and the working world. Usually I watch YouTubers online who have content of what they do post-graduation, but they're influencers, so their kind of life is different than my 9-to-5. And when I first graduated college, it was May 22nd, and the first week of June I went to Florida, Miami. Miami is beautiful. And so I had some time. I was buying myself some time. I was applying for jobs, looking for jobs and where to go. And also I went to Miami. I had a senior year trip with my friends and it was so amazing. During this time, during mid-June to August, I started applying for jobs, interviewing with a consulting company, McKinsey, through one of my previous connections. And I was doing casing with other members, learning more about the frameworks in casing and business. And then I was also applying for other jobs, sales roles, random things like that. And then I went to Chicago to visit my other friend. I've never been to Chicago. I've been there now, and it's kind of cool. The bean is like a little tiny thing, but it's that senior year trip that I'm really happy that I took because I didn't want to rush working, but I wanted a job at the same time. In August, I was still trying to figure out what jobs I wanted. I reached out to my LinkedIn connections from my alma mater, and they helped me out a lot. I said, I want to work in the financial services as a product manager. And so people connected me. I was meeting my alma mater, or the people the alma maters connected me with, to understand what their thoughts and what I wanted to know. While at the same time I was still studying for McKinsey, I was doing casing. I would open my McKinsey book, I would read over a framework, do a case book, speak out loud, listen to myself, and then book meetings with other people who are also studying for McKinsey. So I was just doing a lot of casing with other people. And what this really helped me learn is how to take good notes. Take good notes, ask good questions, even without noting all the information. So casing really was very, very helpful. I also remember during the time I was doing my casing, there was this one point where it was the end of August and I was emotionally anxious that I would fail or that I wouldn't know it. And it was really dreadful to do these case competitions. I remember one day my dad, he goes to me, "Why are you forcing yourself to do this job that you don't want to do right now? You don't see the value in doing, and you're dreading your life. You look like you're miserable. Why are you choosing this life for yourself?" And I really thought about it, and it made me take a step back and say, Dad, you're right. I don't want to study these cases. Actually, I'm dreading this day. And he says, look, when it's right, you can study for case competitions, do the case interviews, but right now, it doesn't seem like that's the path you want to go down. That's where I started learning my first lesson, which is, don't fit yourself into this box. I told myself, things will work out, but don't jam yourself into this box that you think you should fit into, that you think is right. Because if you don't see the value, why are you trying to force yourself when you know that maybe down the line you will absolutely hate it? And I knew that once I got the job, if I did get the job offer, I would start in November, I would absolutely hate my job. Not that it's because I don't believe in consulting or any of that stuff. I just don't think at that moment it was right for me. Now comes September, and I'm sitting in these interview calls. I'm like, "Hi, my name's Kelly, da-da-da." And I started talking to my now mentor, but before, he was an alumni from my alma mater who he sent over this job opportunity. And for me, I thought, what? While I'm doing this, why not get a part-time job? And during that time, while I was doing part-time research for him, he invited me to these different conferences. The first one is a Trinet's PeopleForce, which honestly, they invite the super successful people. It was so inspiring to see so many passionate people at these conferences. People were passionate about what they did. They had such good advice. Sitting there hearing these stories in the auditorium with the CEO of PepsiCo, the CEO of Walt Disney, the CEO of WeWork, just sitting there and listening to them talk. And hearing that, I was like, this is powerful. I'm in the same room as them, just listening to them speak. And it was this magnificent stage, and I absolutely loved the experience. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. At the same time, while I was attending these conferences, I was still doing the part-time job and then interviewing for my different jobs. And I remember I had this one interview. It was an internship at the time, because I just thought, I think I like ads. I like Rakuten, along with some other things. I really like ads. Let me try entering into this space. After I was accepted into the internship, I had a brief 2-week period, and my parents were going on this cruise with my grandparents, and we went to Bermuda on this cruise. So it was a really good break from everything. It was really nice to relax, to read my book, and yeah. So following that, here is October. So we're in October, and I started my internship. The first few days, what really surprised me about this internship, so I was a data analyst for this ad tech company, and what really surprised me are a few things. So my previous internships, you clock in at 9 and you leave by 5, right? Or you leave by 6 whenever you finish your job. This internship, my manager and other people were coming in at 9:30. I was like, what? You could come to work late? I didn't know you could do this. And I came to work at 9:30. They have a WeWork office, so we have free snacks and drinks. They have happy hours every Wednesday and Thursday. We have bi-monthly town halls where they would really share more about the company, have people come in. And I was like, whoa, this is really cool. But as time went on, while I was doing this internship, I realized a couple of things. One, I had a lot of flexible hours. So I would work at 9:30. My manager was super relaxed. She's very autonomous. She gave me my autonomy. She goes, if you want to come to the office, come to the office. If you don't, you don't. It's up to you to decide what you want to do, what works best for you. And that was the first time someone gave me a choice. I was like, oh, okay, I have my choice. I can choose if I want to work in the office, 1. 2, she also really pushed that you own this process. She was preparing me to own my own process. And I can talk about this in a later video. I don't want to go too much into depth about my job experiences, because this is really just my experience while I was interning, doing everything. I was one of 3 other interns doing a fall internship while I was looking for, actually when I wasn't at work, I was ruminating about college, about all the good times I had in college, how amazing it was. It was a really, really good time. And I started also regretting all the things that I didn't do in college. I didn't pursue the major that I really wanted. I didn't explore more classes. I didn't keep friendships that I maybe thought that we both brought value to each other. And there were a lot of things that I kept regretting, but just throughout that time, I started taking a step back and realizing, okay, what did I actually do right? Okay, not what did I ever do, what did I do right? And I listed it out, and what I started realizing is it's all about your mindset. Because I remember I started thinking to myself, if I'm regretting college, right? If I'm regretting my computer science major, or studying it more than I should have, I just kept thinking, I was like, what if I did do the major that I wanted? Would there have been something else I would have complained about or would have regretted that I didn't do? And that's when I really started realizing that your mindset really does matter. That what you think matters, because I just shifted to, okay, what did I do right? And when I started thinking, okay, so I met with my professors, I did that. I actually established relationships and a community. I've learned skills I really developed in college into the person I am today because I used the resources. I intellectually learned from mentors, made professional strides that I just didn't really know how the workplace worked, but I did internships and I continued to look for internships every single summer. And so I started thinking, okay, you know what? I don't think I would have known I didn't like computer science, or if I did, I didn't know I had the opportunity to switch. But I kept telling myself, computer science, after I get this major, at least I have something to show for it, which is true. But in computer science, also one of those things where it's a lot about the skills and the experiences. It's not necessarily about the topic or the major itself. And that's when I started realizing my own logical fallacy, which is, why am I focusing so much on the title? Actually, the title doesn't really matter. It's what do you know? And this is something I started exploring during my study abroad, is who are you without your title? Who are you without your title? For example, if I'm not a student, then what am I? Right? And this was something I really started thinking and reflecting on when I was in college, or when I was in doing my internship. Because look, if I'm no longer a student, that means if I'm no longer a professional, then what would I be when I'm an elderly person? If I continue this way of thinking, what would I be? Who am I? And I started thinking to myself, well, who are you? Because there are periods when people aren't students. Like, yes, I am Asian. Yes, I am American. Yes, I am first generation. But what does that really mean? Does that define who I am? No. It contributes and influences who I am, but it doesn't mean I'm just that. Just like your job doesn't mean you're just that job. And that's what I started to realize. It's you're a person, and for me, I have tech knowledge now, and I have business background, and I've done other things. Just your job title, that doesn't define you. That's just a title, but what does it mean? Because if I were to leave this job, it's what skills do I actually have, which is what I'm really stressing. That's what I really started learning. It's actually like, what skills do I have? Because if I'm no longer everything I am, right? If I'm no longer a student, if I'm no longer a professional, I can't have my identity constantly keep on shifting because I'm just in different stages of my life. So I said, actually, I need to be grounded. What do I enjoy that will not change? Is, for example, yes, I enjoy singing, but maybe down the line, I might not like singing as much. But it doesn't mean I don't like singing. I enjoy singing, right? I enjoy creative things. I enjoy design. We are constantly evolving, and our job title is just one aspect of us. We are so multifaceted. We have so many things that we share or don't share with the world, with our close friends, the close loved ones, that we do or might not share. So that's really got me thinking, okay, so my identity as a student, as a professional is important, but it doesn't define who I am. Every human is so multifaceted, and it's just our experiences that really just add to our skill sets, who we are. And I would say while I was at Integral at Science, layoffs started happening after I booked that trip to Bali. It's how I got over post-college depression. Honestly, I'm eating my pan de queso. This is so good, guys. I brought it to the park.